Hello and welcome back everyone. So today's video has been suggested to me by William May. So a special thank you and shout out goes to him for pointing out this video to me. Now, we all know that I'm an ignorant, homophobic, transphobic, retarded bigot who loves to spread hate, which means I'm a perfect candidate for this video. I mean, it teaches us what not to ask trans people. So grab a scuba suit and wade with me through all the condescension to see if we can get the bigotry educated out of us.
So, what's your real name?
Captain. Yes, Captain is actually my real name.
My real name is Brennan.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Brennan. Wait a second, that seems normal. Am I missing something? Am I being homophobic?
Any trans person that tells you their name, that's probably their real name. What this question, I guess, is trying to ask is, what's your given name or what's your birth name?
Yeah, I've had people ask me that when I tell them that my name is Captain. People usually ask questions like these because they're curious and they want to segue into a conversation.
Which is also commonly referred to in the transgender community as our dead name, our name that we had to kill in order to become this new person, in order to become this new identity, and they should stay dead.
Don't you refer to me by my slave name. It represents oppression even though my mama and daddy gave it to me out of love. Right now, say the rude boy, that was racist as hell. What? What? Come on, you mean I fucked up already? I was just using satire to show how they appropriated that from black culture so they can get more oppression points. Holy shit, man, that's homophobic!
What was it like being a girl? Can you show me pictures of you when, you were a girl?
Can you, back away from the fucking camera? If you could, that would be fabulous.
Any question you ask about a trans person's past, or about a trans person before their transition, or before they came out as trans, it's not fun to answer those questions. You're basically asking someone to recall a really painful time, or a really dark time, or a very confusing time.
Finally, a point that I get. I mean, believe it or not, back in the day, I used to be a child, and then I transitioned into an adult. Sure, people might be curious about who I was at that point in my life, but it was a confusing and dark time for me. I mean, there was a time where I didn't even comprehend words. I had to learn the alphabet. And there were people who made fun of my name, and now you've triggered me, and I have to remember it and... Okay, I'm fine now, guys. I'm fine now. Well, what the hell was that? You can't do that. You're not a transsexual. What?
It can cause dysphoria, it can be very uncomfortable to talk about, so just try to steer clear of conversations that have to do with a trans person before they transition.
Oh, I see. I get it. My mind has been opened. Trans people are entitled to special treatment because their feelings and experiences are just more valid than ours. If only I had known this earlier. Thank you. Gosh, guys, I'm so happy that we're here learning this together. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person who was treating trans people like they were normal and average people. Boy, were we transphobic.
So, what genitals do you have?
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Transgender people's bodies have sort of become an oddity, but what a lot of people don't really understand is, number one, that's private.
No shit.
I always wondered why they called them private parts.
You wouldn't just go around asking random people what's in their pants.
Well, of course not, you idiot, and no one does that. I would imagine that it gets brought up when you're talking to a trans person that you're interested in sexually.
So, when are you gonna get a sex change?
I know I'm not a tranny, and I'm probably homophobic for saying this, but could you back the fuck up out my business? Seriously, if you get any closer, I'm pressing charges.
The term sex change is incredibly broad.
Now, I know that I'm just a little ignorant old white straight man, but I think I can grasp the concept here.
There are basically hundreds of ways that you can physically change your body into another sex. Every single trans person, the way that they transition is different from any other trans person.
Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and save us some time here. You guys remember how we couldn't ask about their life before transition? Well, we can't ask about their transition or if they finished it either, because it could totally trigger some feels, and we would be bigots yet again, and that's something that we want to avoid.
Are you sure you aren't just gay?
Well, I would say you look pretty fucking gay to me. Homophobia! He's a damn homophobe! Okay, well, while you're getting triggered, can I ask, what the hell is up with the music? Ooh, wait a second. Is that another question I'm not supposed to ask?
There are a few questions that just make people look stupid.
Well, when you're right, you're right. It's a stupid question. Next.
If I'm attracted to you, am I still straight?
This is a trick question, isn't it? It's a trap, huh? I mean, that's like saying if somebody dresses up like an animal and they identify as that animal, and then you in turn have sex with them, are you then participating in bestiality? But then what if you're dressed like an animal too, and you identify as that animal as well? And don't think I'm just being silly. People actually do this shit and believe this shit. I think I've officially offended at least half of Tumblr.
Love who you love. It's not going to change your identity. Might change your perspective a little bit.
You know, this whole video is starting to seem like one big deflection. I mean, either identities don't matter, in which case your entire video is irrelevant, or identities do matter and you need to answer the question.
And also, that's incredibly self-centered to ask, I'm just saying.
Now, I'm not saying that anyone's better than anyone else and you can't ask them questions, but I'm just saying.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Oh, son of a bitch. We went through the trouble to make that question so confusing, and now they want me to answer it?
Just take everything I answered in all of those other questions and just apply it to this question.
We know it's confusing, but don't ask us questions and it'll be alright.
First of all, someone who asks this has no concept of the gender spectrum. They just think there's boy and girl.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have male and female and those transitioning to and from. We now have a spectrum given to us by the great scholars from Tumblr. And even though it has no scientific basis, we have to learn and we have to educate ourselves so we can be better people.
The answer to all of these questions don't matter. You do not need to know.
Do not question the overlords, listen and believe.
And I know, it's human nature to be curious about things that you don't understand.
But since you're transsexual, you don't have to be tolerant of other people's questions. I get it now, guys. See, I am learning. Maybe there is hope for me after all.
If you really want to talk about being transgender, or you want to talk to a transgender person and have a productive conversation, here are a few questions that you can ask that are actually important for you to know.
Oh, how thoughtful of you, writing down a list of pre-approved questions. Now we're on our way to being good little gender spectrum approved children.
What pronouns do you use? How can I support you as an ally? How can I make this shared space and this shared planet more comfortable and more inclusive of trans people now and in the future?
How do you wish us to address you, O great and merciful one? Are you feeling okay? Can I get you a blanket and some hot cocoa? Maybe rub your feet and lick your booty hole? I mean, we are required to do anything so long as you're comfortable and feel just oh so special and loved.
And remember, transgender people and gender nonconforming people are also people.
But just make damn sure that you treat us better than anyone else.
So if you're just looking to have a conversation, I suggest these questions. What do you think is the best way to approach climate change?
Hugging trees and sticking pine cones up our ass, of course.
Have you heard that Netflix is coming out with a series of unfortunate events series starring Neil Patrick Harris?
I don't have Netflix, you presumptuous cunt.
What Harry Potter house are you in?
Yeah, what Harry Potter house you're in? That's a riveting conversation right there.
What's your favorite color?
Maybe I'm colorblind, you ableist asshole. Jeez, way to trigger me.
So hopefully this video educated you or your family or whatever. If you think it was important, you can share it with all of your friends. You can click the like button, just like, comment on the video.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I have learned a lot from this video, and I feel like sharing it with you has helped you to learn a lot as well. I've learned that it's okay to talk and have conversation with trans people, just so long as you don't ask them any questions or try to get to know them in the slightest way. Also, you may be expected to get them a warm glass of milk and tuck them in at night. No, but seriously guys, I don't have a problem with trans people in the slightest. I personally treat them like everyone else, and quite frankly, if they're the kind of person that wants to get triggered at questions or any talking points, it's probably best not to talk to them anyway. If someone has to go off of pre-approved questions and tiptoe around the other person that they're trying to have a conversation with, well, it's not an honest conversation and it's not worth having. Everyone is invited to come to the adults' table to have an adult conversation, but if you can't handle it, you can't start demanding that the conversation meet your requirements. Fuck off and go find your own table if you don't like what's being said or you cannot handle it. This goes for everyone and anyone, not trans people, not gay people, not straight people, everyone. If you cannot handle words, you should try to avoid those words, not demand that people do not use them. Well everyone, I do hope that you did enjoy the video. Now the link to the original video will be available through private messaging me, either here on YouTube or over on Twitter, if I know you and if you have a good enough reason. And once again, thank you William for pointing out this video to me. Now, if you have a video that you would like to suggest or see me respond to, message me either here on YouTube or over on Twitter. I'll make sure to give you a shout out like I done in this video. Until next time guys, remember, keep up the fight against stupidity, wherever you may find it. Have a good one.